Well, good morning. This morning. It's like 8:15, I think, a.m. Anyways, so let's, I mean, a lot of you guys, Rich, Dennis, you know what I'm saying, Adam, CF Mechanic, a lot of you guys made some very serious good points. You did. You know what I'm saying? All right, about, how close it really hits. I mean, this is a continuation of the previous video. Master for Wimpy little morons. Nick, thank you, Nick, for making your comment. Yeah, I do appreciate it, because it's not about putting anybody down, dude. It's about educating people. It's about bringing the truth to the light. Because yes, you know what I'm saying, the government is lying to us. I mean, the government's been lying to us since 1931. Fact. Right? You know what I'm saying? Now, each president lied about something different. You know what I'm saying? But for the last, 5 or 6, right? The government has really, truly been hiding stuff from us and misinforming us with their disinformation. Right? Okay, just true. And a lot of people, right, they fall victim to that misinformation because of their sense of reality, what they truly believe in their mind, right? Because, you got to remember, a lot of people are not truly aware of themselves. Understatement, right? You know what I'm saying? When you live in the city, right, you know what I'm saying, you have a different mindset than when you live out in the country. Now I'm not saying that people that live out in the country are better than people that live in the city. We're all the same, right? We just think differently because we have different, I made this video because we have different politics. Right? Now, out here in Nevada, right, fact, right, 71% of the population in Nevada that voted in the last presidential election and the presidential election before that voted for Trump. I don't think Biden got more than, 20,000 votes out here, right? Okay. And Obama didn't get any, right? But Trump and Obama and whoever the hell was before them, I think it was Clinton, or maybe somewhere around there. I don't remember. That tells you how much I give a fuck, right? But they set out on a direct campaign, undercover from all of us. I mean, unknown to all of us. You know what I'm saying? About upgrading, you know what I'm saying, and moving the way the government works into the future. Right? Trump was big about this. This is one of Trump's really, one of his main points in his, campaign speeches. I mean, I watched a few of them. Right, and saying I pay attention when I want to, right? And COVID-19 was the perfect diversion to do all of this stuff that they've been planning since Clinton, right? The Democrats, right, have always been the ones to run the country, right, like it is a business. The Republicans, right, have always been the ones, right, to start all the wars, to give away all the government contracts to the defense industry, right, you know what I'm saying, to hold on to the money and to save it, to spend it on some dumb something, you know what I'm saying. Even my hero, Mr. Ronald Reagan, even he spent billions of dollars on the idea of Star Wars defense system. When we already had, a couple of hundred, nuclear missiles in Wyoming, in Minnesota, in Nebraska, you know what I'm saying? There's videos on YouTube just showing you the leftovers, the remnants, you know what I'm saying, of these installations, you know what I'm saying, after they dismantled it due to the SALT II treaties and all that stuff we made with the Russians at the end of the Cold War. Okay, but when it comes to COVID-19, right, they have lied the whole way through, right? You know what I'm saying? Because now, a year and a half later, right, you're starting to see, right, the fruits, right, of the upgrade. Yes, you are. You know what I'm saying? Okay, but the problem herein lies, right, is that the vast majority of Americans are still not vaccinated. Now, there's no guarantee that just because you got vaccinated doesn't mean you're not going to get COVID-19. There's no guarantee that any mask that they can invent is not going to keep you from getting COVID-19. These are facts. What? Right? Dennis, I believe, you know what I'm saying, said that, even though you got a shot, you still got COVID-19. Right? Okay. This is my point, right? Is that instead of all of this misinformation and disinformation and outright bullshit that everybody's spreading around. Let's get to the facts. Let's get down to the real brass tacks of the whole thing, right? Because we're not going to get any real information from the politicians, right? We're not going to get any other information from all of the city worker bees, you know what I'm saying, the federal employees, the state employees, right? They're spouting the straight, you know, government line, right? But the only one that's actually saying anything that's real and is kind of true is that dude, Dr. Fausto, whatever his name is, the Surgeon General dude that Trump fired because he was trying to tell the truth. And that Biden rehired because, you know, Biden believes his truth. Now, am I insulated from COVID-19? I would say, you know, 70, 85% true. I'm insulated from it. Because I can only get exposed if I go into town or if I could go out, you know, over to, you know, Tonopah or to Reno. And we make a lot of trips going here and there, everywhere else. Right? And yes, I do wear my mask when I need to, when I'm supposed to. And yes, for the most part, you know what I'm saying? Ron just said it right. People are starting to ignore the whole stupid mask mandate signs anyway. And and store owners are letting them because the store owners they need the... Because America's like shut down still. It really, truly is. I mean, this is not bullshit. The news is, you know, yes, you got to take the news with a grain of salt. And yes, everybody has their favorite news network. Fox, NBC, CNN, you know what I'm saying, Al Jazeera, right? I mean, the Israeli, the Frenchies, the Germans. You know, so everybody's got their favorite news organization that they listen to or they read on their phone. And everybody's going to believe whatever they're going to want to believe. Me? I'm concerned to the point that, right, young people are thinking, they're developing wrong ideas and bad thinking patterns, you're saying, when it comes to, you know, to public health and public safety. There's a reason why we have these rules and regulations and laws and stuff, right? It's to keep us, all of us, not me or you or him or her. You'll say all of us, community, right? They're designed to keep all of us, you know, aware, you know what I'm saying, and relatively safe from stuff like this when it happens. Because I'm telling you guys, and a lot of you guys know this, Gmail, I want to hear what you got to say, right? This is not over. Delta is the very first of many, many, many variants that are going to come along in the next 5 to 10 years. Is the government going to beat COVID-19? No. They said they put an end to chickenpox, yet there's still people over in Ceylon or wherever the hell getting chickenpox. Got my scar. Right? And I got shingles because of it. Right? But I got the scar for that shot too, so shingles will go away. Right? Unless the younger generations, I'm talking about you 20-somethings. Right? So maybe 30-somethings. Right? Because the people that are in their 40s and older, we've already been through enough to know that the government is lying to us. We already been through enough to know, you know what I'm saying, that we need to perceive the truth and what it is that they're giving us. No, I'm not. Yeah, I might be insulated from COVID-19 while I'm out here. But I'm not isolated from what the hell's going on. I pay $100 a month for 100 gigs of fucking data through T-Mobile out here in the middle of nowhere, right? So that me and Teresa can stay informed, right, on what's going on, right? Do I think we're heading in the right direction? That remains to be seen. Because we're still working on the financial systems and policies that Trump and Obama instituted, right? The ones that Obama actually I said that wrong. We're still operating under the regulations of the financial industry, right? That Obama's policies instituted during his time as president. And remember, he had 8 years, right? Okay, and then we're dealing with Trump's policy changes. Right, on top of Obama's and the ones that you deleted that were already started, but were deleted when the upgrade came. And then on top of that, we're dealing with the upgrade itself, right? That Biden and his little crew of fools, right, are pushing forward, right, to try to clean up the mess. The rest of us have to wait it out. Sure, in some parts of America, like Nevada, the Western America, right, it's pretty much business as usual, and life, in general, is rolling forward like it always does, right? And Sam, there's certain exceptions in the business area. Stores are still closed, businesses are still closed. A lot of them went broke, went bankrupt, closed down. There's a couple of businesses here in Carver. That the owners closed them down, but they're sitting on their treasure pile because they know that this stretch of road between Tonopah and Austin, there ain't nothing but Carvers and Hadley. Right? And a lot of people drive people on this highway. A lot. Last week, they shut down the trucker guys. They said because some of the trucker guys were testing positive at the, wherever the hell they were testing them at before they were coming across Nevada. And the government said, oh, hell no! Shut them down. And they did. And for like a week, look at us sitting out here in the back in the shade in the afternoon smoking cigarettes. Me and Teresa, we didn't see a semi-truck one. Only big trucks we saw moving back and forth were the hay trucks coming from the RO Ranch and going, that way to Tonopah. And the ones from the Mickey Mouse Ranch going that way into Austin, back and forth hay trucks. That was it. Everything else is a car, truck, SUV, campers. Yeah, there's a lot of fifth wheels and people running. Right? But the facts of the matter are quite simple. You understand? Whether you live in the city or you live in the country or you live anywhere in between or way out there. Right? The chances of you catching and spreading COVID-19, are still relatively high. Because remember, there's 400 million of us in this country, and only 43% of them have been vaccinated. And we've already discussed vaccination. Right? Understand? Right? So that leaves the vast majority out there developing their ideas and thinking what they think that they believe, when it comes to, oh, I'm not going to get it. 10 days, 2 weeks ago, right when school over here at Hadley started, it's subdivision for the youngsters, right? And it's, regular school semester, regular school year started, right? The girls volleyball team, right, had a tournament, state, one of the first round state tournament, over in Austin or somewhere, right? And 9 other schools showed up in the surrounding area, play volleyball, for this regional tournament. Turns out that 2 of the girls that came from a different school, right, had been not exposed but infected, right, with COVID-19, right, and they came up here to, nobody knew, right, they came up here to Austin to play. There's not, mind you, there's 9 schools. That's, probably 80 girls, teenagers, right, and when the shit leaked out, everybody freaked out. They shut down the schools everywhere. All 9 of these schools shut down. Bam! No one did anything. All the kids got tested. Right? And the woman who was the coach, right, and the assistant coach, and the lady, who was the chaperone kind of / counselor guidance type person for the team, they all live here in Hadley. They freaked out. Because they had been exposed to the live COVID-19, virus, right? And now they had to come back. So no matter how many times they washed their hands, no matter how many times they took a shower, no matter how many masks they wore, where they were thinking in their mind, when they come back, they're going to infect their whole little town. Everybody's going to die. It's going to be my fault. That is how serious this shit gets into people's minds. That's how serious this fucking shit is. Now, I ain't no damn scientist. I ain't no fucking expert. I'm just an old fool sitting out here in a camp trailer in the middle of nowhere almost, you understand, right? That feels like nobody actually is getting the whole point of, the government's fucking restrictions and all that bullshit, right? This is the point. Clinton started this. Remember, what I'm saying, a couple years ago, they fucking say, hey, we got this new license you guys should get, federal driver's license, you can fly, you can drive, you can do anything, you can go anywhere, right? You know what I'm saying? We got you registered in the government rolls, and we know who you are, we know where you live, we know how much money you're not making, right? We know how much we're taking away from you, right? You know what I'm saying? But this is going to allow you to go anywhere you want on vacation and do everything. It's going to make everything smoother and easier. Remember a few years before that, you know what I'm saying, back in the Bush days, when the terrorists were blowing everything up and the soldiers were fighting everybody and France was burning and Germans had this special fucking terrorist group, you know what I'm saying, that they just charged in and blasted everybody, they didn't care if you was a terrorist or an innocent or not. And they instituted the, no-fly list, right? And instantly a third of Americans became on the list of no flying anywhere on any kind of airplane. Remember that? And then a few years before that, you remember when they revised, they said that the Social Security Administration was going broke, right? And that by the time, this was like when I was, right, in my 40s, late 40s, almost 50, right? That by the time I was, hit retirement age, 65, I'm saying that there would be no money in the Social Security Administration, and I wouldn't get any of my money back that I worked all my life for, that they took away from me in taxes. Right? And so they, revised the whole Social Security Administration thing, and blah, 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 and they deleted a bunch of stuff, and saying, social programs and everything else, and it made things harder for people. That was back in the days when they actually gave you real food stamp money instead of the card. You had real fake, it's like Monopoly money. Some of you might remember. And Mr. Reagan gave away the cheese, the WIC, the cheese and the milk and the butter, all the government surplus stuff that the farmers were making. Since then, right? No. And a few years before that, and a few years before that, and a few years before that, the government has been lying to us this whole time and hiding stuff from us. And saying that they have been doing on the government's side, right? Because that's what governments do. They all do it. There is no conspiracy. It's just out and out. Let's not tell them because, we don't want them to react this way or that way or, cause a panic or, that's why they won't admit that there's aliens. Come on. Thank you, Nick. I do appreciate it. If you've gotten this far into this video, thank you, Nicholas. I do appreciate, because it's not about putting anybody down, bro. It's about educating us all. That's what I'm saying. My videos are designed to make people think. Right? The more people that watch them, the more people will think. And the more people that think, and maybe, they might come across this simple concept, right? That what they think, is based on bullshit. And what they know is God's truth. This me, Brian. I already did all my chores, So, time to take a shot and go work on my motorcycle. Thank you. Round Mount Public Library.